I totally cut you off there too.
Anybody awake? Is anybody out
Hello,
there?
hello there. I know this is totally a last minute impromptu, like little quick 30-minute stream before it all starts. But
I know
Mr. Fett and
our
Kevin,
hour dwindled from an hour to 45 minutes to then 30 minutes because we're
I know.
reeling from this midnight release time.
Yeah,
Disney
we were. I
Plus.
mean, this is the last time I listened to Kat too, because Kat's always out here telling me,
I think I led us
um,
astray.
yeah, she's like, yeah, it'll be at 5 or 6.
That's what Ahsoka was. And that's what
I think
Percy
Kenobi
Jackson
was too. Wasn't
was.
Kenobi at like
No, that
5?
was definitely. Was it? I feel like everything pre Ahsoka was midnight. And then they did Ahsoka, and I was like, oh, can this be permanent? Maybe this is their new thing. But I guess not.
Yeah, I actually don't even remember. I mean, again, we hardly remembered Bad Batch coming into this. Now we're like,
No,
oh yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, and now we're all excited about it. Yeah, Kenobi. Okay, Kenobi was at around 9.
9
I
Pacific?
think I feel like 9. Okay, so Pacific, it was probably midnight because I do remember watching an episode, and then me and Zach would go and make content, and it
At
was
like
like,
2.
oh my god, I'm so tired, or like I had to make some edit, right,
Yeah,
and then I'd go
yeah.
to sleep at 3 or 4.
Oh my god, I know, right?
And yeah, we really pushed ourselves during Kenobi because it was we were thinking it was going to be, the gold standard moving forward.
But it
And
was still, in terms of content, my Kenobi content is still like my best performing stuff.
well,
Like
it's
it
because
was
everyone was paying attention to it. Like it
right.
was like the most anticipated project and everyone wanted it for so long. It's kind of like Avatar right now. Avatar's coming out and
Yeah, yeah,
everyone's talking about it. Everyone's stoked. So
right.
that's why there's so many views. That's why new creators are popping up. I'm seeing all these new content creators that are just starting YouTube for the first time, making Avatar content,
A lot
and
of
it's amazing.
Avatar fans who've probably been dormant and now they're like, this is my chance, which is
Yeah,
awesome because it's like, yeah, once your fandom is back alive, get at it. So
yeah,
yeah, no, it's I faced a reckoning when we learned that it was the midnight release, but Zach made the good point. Absent Zach, he's here via the Force, but
yeah.
he made a good point. He was like, none of the Bad Batch episodes ever came out at 6 o'clock. So I was like, oh.
He's always the voice of reason. If you think about it, like we're out here with all these things and all these things we think we heard, and then Zach's like, "No, guys, you're actually all
No,
wrong.
you
From what I
fools.
remember, it was this." And I'm like, "You know what, Zach? You're probably right because you're usually right, and
I
everything that you
know,
predict is
right?
usually right." It's unfortunate that he's not here, but at least he got to make his predictions. And then I think he made a couple serious predictions aside from the obvious jokes. Right? Didn't he say a couple things like what do you think was going to
What?
happen? We were going through the trailer. We'd have to like kind of roll it back. But
Rolling begin.
we were all convinced that Vader is not going to show up, um,
Yeah.
and Delta Squad isn't going to show up, and
We
um,
might not get the clone uprising.
oh yeah we might not even get any of that, which would be crazy, honestly.
I don't know. I'm having a lot of Are you seeing
Oh, that's right.
the early reviews that have been oh my
For Bad
gosh.
Batch?
Yes.
No, I have not. Let me look at that.
There was one from Screen Rant. Sorry, I'm unmirroring because I didn't like that. There was one from Screen Rant saying that I guess it was from somebody who was able to view the full season or at least the first half of the season, and they said that it followed a consecutive, consistent storyline, contributed to the overarching lore, the overarching story here, the full universe, the full scope of Star Wars as we know it, and that it got much more like serious and intense and mature. Um, so I'm hoping that's a good omen. I don't know. It
Yeah.
feels like they listened to one of our streams and was like, "All right, you."
Yeah, like, what do we have to say to make sure that everyone is so it was a Screen Rant article? They said,
Yes, yes.
let's see what they're saying. Show is one of the most well connected in years. They praise an overarching plot that ties the entire saga together. Bad Batch season 3, episode 1 through 8 are phenomenal, mature tone with a focus on overarching plot over one-off stories. Okay, that's good to hear. One-off stories is Zach's kryptonite, so that's good to hear. Uh,
Zach would be happy if you were here.
from PT to The Mandalorian to Rise of Skywalker, Omega and Crosshair are the show's heart. Palpatine has never been scarier. Do you think Omega's gonna die? I remember you guys were
Dude,
about
that's
this.
what Tom said. No
Yeah,
effing way. No,
that would be
no.
kind of nuts if they did that. That
They
would
would
be
never.
it would be such a left field thing for Disney and such a left field thing for the plot. I can't imagine
No, they
that being a
wouldn't.
thing.
She's a child in a Disney Star Wars animated show.
Yeah,
Has that
she's
ever
she's like a
happened?
Disney princess technically,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
In some ways,
The
right? And
la the
that would be
last
nuts.
time they killed off any children in Star Wars was the younglings, I think, and I think that was meant to be a standalone occurrence to show the severity. And the Tusken Raider children, I shouldn't discriminate. So, you know, I there's no way. But I'm sure I don't know, they have to somehow address, not that they have to, but you know, Tom's prediction is that she dies, and I'm sure many people are wondering, do they all die because they're absent from the future Star Wars canon that we know, you know, they probably, but we do know that like Rex and Gregor and all of them just go into hiding, just go into exile and try to live under the radar as peacefully as they can. Um so it's not like, oh, death is the only explanation for why these characters aren't present in the future of Star Wars, but um no, they wouldn't. Tom was
I feel
so
like we're far more
certain.
likely. Well, I didn't watch all of your stream. I feel like we're far more likely to get Vader than we are to see fucking Omega
Yes,
die, right?
yes. I agree. Vader is way more of a given, if that, although I'm accepting
I
now that
mean,
that's not a given,
yeah,
but
he's definitely not given. I really don't think we're gonna see him.
yeah.
I think the fandom's in a situation where it's like cameos and cheap appearances far outweigh the storyline because the stories are so cheap now, and that we need something to get us excited. Otherwise, we don't feel like it's worth it. So fans like to go to far extenses of seeing special characters and special things happen to make it all worthwhile. And I think as long as there's a good story, as long as everything kind of ties together, as it seems like these reviews are saying, we don't need Vader, right? We if we get the Imp, we get Papa Palpatine. I mean, I'm totally on board with that. I don't really need to have. We don't need to have like the whole crew, right? We don't need to have. We don't even need to have Tarkin really. Like it's really just like a one off of him showing up and telling our boy. I always forget his name. What's his name? The
Hemlock.
Doctor Hemlock. Yes.
Hemlock, which is funny because I was actually, it's so hilarious. Um, I never registered. Uh, when I was looking up pictures, PNGs to use for our thumbnail this evening, I looked up Hemlock and I didn't specify Hemlock Star Wars. And I forgot Hemlock is an actual plant. And this is in the Hunger Games as well. It's a real life plant that is highly poisonous. And I just think, wow, that's like, it's even a small dose of this plant can kill people, livestock, and wildlife, according to Google. And I didn't even think to like look into his name like that, but I was just like, dang.
I mean, if it's any recurring theme, there anytime anyone's evil in Star Wars, their name is something to be desired,
Indicative.
right? It's definitely intense, you know, like Darth
Yep.
Tyrannus, right? Tyrant. And then we
Yeah.
got Sidious, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Maul. It's like anytime. I mean, even non-Jedi characters that are evil, right? I mean, with an exception to Tarkin, right? You got Rampart,
Yeah.
right? It's like they're like blatantly obvious dark names, and
Yeah.
that's just something that Star Wars always does. So I knew Hemlock meant that, but just because there's a show called
Okay,
Hemlock Grove,
Jesus. I
but
didn't
like
realize we're all smarter than me here. Sorry. I
I
knew what
mean
hemlock was.
I
Sorry.
mean not to sorry to burst your bubble, cat, not to tear you down, but I think everyone knows what Hemlock means.
I'm
I'm
not,
sorry
I
about
live
it.
in freaking not the wild, all right? I live in
I live
Los
in not the wild.
Angeles. I
I
live
live
where
inside. I live indoors.
I live where there are no plants, okay? How do I know?
You live in the basement.
I
You haven't
haven't
seen light in weeks.
The life of a YouTuber. Yeah, it's been raining. Speaking of having not seeing light, who was it who tuned in? Leo from tuning in as well from rainy Los Angeles. I know I'm enjoying it. We're going back to sunshine though after this week.
Yeah, are you enjoying? We have gotten a lot of rain recently. I mean, at
I
least
am
I have.
enjoying it.
I know I have noticed it's raining a lot more in LA than it is in San Diego,
Hmm.
and I'm irritated because I feel like you're bringing all your East Coast weather, and we're out
I
here with sunshine and
know.
rainbows nonstop.
All these atmospheric rivers. No, I just think it's I don't mean this to come across as what is it? What's the word? This is gonna maybe I just shouldn't even say it then. It's just we're so we're so unaccustomed to rain out here, heavy rains. Our infrastructure is just not equipped to withstand, and there's obviously been massive damage to people's homes. Tom and I've seen like structural damage when we drove up into the hills recently from the mudslides and whatnot. So it's
Yeah,
definitely
those are
had
nuts. That's
impacts.
crazy.
But
It's
where
happening. It's happening a lot in like south of us a little bit in like in
yeah,
the heart of San Diego, right? Like the actual city. Like imagine paying like 12,000 a month to live in Little
bajillions.
Italy, and all of your shit's flooded. Like God, that would
Yeah,
suck.
no, these homes that are right along the PCH that are just falling into the ocean, the cliffs, the ground beneath them is partially obviously due to erosion, but I'm sure these heavy rains aren't helping. It's like it's definitely it's wild living in Los Angeles, and when it rains and pours heavily, you have your family texting you like, "Are you okay?" Because that's how unequipped we are for rain out here. It's like the least minor concern when it comes to
Yeah,
natural disasters, but that's
yeah.
that's how it is. That's the roads,
Because the
people can't
roads,
drive.
it's because of the
Yep.
well, they're not only can they not drive, but all the oil that accumulates from lack of any
Yes.
inclement weather just on the
Yes.
roads makes everything so slippery, and it's very
Really bad.
dangerous over here, and everyone drives in California,
Yep.
everyone. So it's not like a, "Oh, just take public transit," because that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
That's not a thing.
You can, but at your own discretion.
Like,
You
good luck.
you've been
That would
advised.
suck. I wouldn't
I
wish that upon
know.
anyone. I'd say just get a car. It's
I
like the easiest
know.
thing.
I had a family member come and visit me once, and whenever people come visit, I always feel bad because they're usually visiting from the East Coast, so the jet lag is in their favor, so they wake up productive at, like, 5 o'clock in the morning naturally, and
Mhm.
so I woke up, and this family member who was visiting me, he he was gone, and he had texted me, "Oh, I took the metro to downtown LA." And I was like, "You what?" I was like, "Oh my god,
People do
get
that?
off now, like, don't you should have asked me, I would have told you that it is not." And this is not listen, this is coming from somebody I love public transportation, okay? And before I lived here, I lived in DC for a little bit, and the public transportation there is stellar. I am not trying to poo-poo public transit at all, but LA, city of Los Angeles, if you are listening to me, we cannot sustain this. We've gotta do something. This has nothing to do with Bad Batch, but at this point, I feel like all we can do is just wait and see what it is.
Even San Francisco's a little whack, like, but if you look at, like, London, and then we're
Yeah,
obviously and then Japan, we're
the
gonna see all of
tube,
that.
for
Yeah, and there's the
real.
tube, yeah, and even France has a really good system, and
Yeah,
it's like, what is happening over here? Where's all the money going? We have, like, the biggest GDP. We have, like, one of the biggest GDPs in as a state, like, we're, like, number 3 in the world as a state, we're not even a country. Like, it's crazy, and we can't even have public transit.
I know.
I think a lot of it is lobbying, right? Like big car companies are like, well, we got to keep the sales up, so don't put in efficient systems because then
Mhm.
people will stop buying cars, right? But
I
anyway,
mean, yeah, yeah.
that was a bit of a sidebar.
We're just venting about the state of the union,
State of the Union.
getting out our real world problems before we indulge in some fiction.
Yeah, we should just talk about politics all stream. That's just something that we should just
Ah!
always do. Anyway, according from I don't know who Tessa Smith or Mama's Geeky is, but Bad Batch season 3 has given me literal chills multiple times. I've seen the first eight episodes, and if they continue this way, I will be a happy camper. Stakes are
Right.
high, visuals are stunning, action is intense, and treachery is abound. Um, sure, that sounds a little bot, but
Have
whatever.
some faith. I will say I usually try to take these premature reviews from those who've been able to get exclusive access, these reviewers and critics who they do invite. I'm not saying I don't credit them and I think that they're lying, but I always try to take those with a grain of salt because it's like the intention is to get people hype, like, and
Yeah, like
so
yeah, in a lot of ways, like when you're asked to sponsor a product, right?
right,
You're
right.
not gonna sit there and be like, "This is the worst product I've ever seen. Don't buy this product." All right, now back to the video. You're gonna praise it. You're gonna say it helped me. And you're gonna say how it has utility in your life and everything. You're not gonna be real about it. That's why when I do see the early screening reviews, yeah, I'm obviously gonna be like, okay, well, if they're saying things that feels like it's forced or it feels like it's just random jargon that would be used for any reviewer just to get more invites, then I ignore it, right? But most of the time when I see these, right, you see them even for terrible movies or terrible shows. So I usually ignore them, but I do like to hear what people have to say in general,
Oh,
just to
yeah.
see if there's like a theme here. Like if there's a theme where everyone says the same thing, I'm like, okay, this is forced. But if there's like different opinions or people see different things, then great, right? Then okay, maybe there's something here. So
That's a
yeah,
good point. If it's like a standalone. But you raise a really good point, and again, I don't wanna, like, discredit any of these people at all, I hope it doesn't come across like I'm suggesting that they're lying, but I know that I too would maybe dress up my review a little bit if I knew I was lucky enough to go and see the first few episodes, so, like, I would and I'm also just a shill to begin with, so I know maybe I'm just projecting, and accusing all these totally valid reviews of what I would be doing, which is probably using very, very, very hype language to describe things. But you raise a really good point, and I've seen that with Bad Batch. I've seen a lot of the people who've been able to see it early access, and like with Dune, I believe it with Dune. All the reviews coming out, everyone's saying that it's about to be like Peter Jackson level epicness that we haven't seen since Lord of the Rings. I'm like, frick yes, feed
they're
me,
calling it
feed me.
his empire. His
Yes.
Empire Strikes Back, like the
Yep.
new generation's empire. And I'm like, I mean, I'm all on board with it. This is where my bias kicks in. I'm gonna believe everything everyone says here because I am so in love with with this franchise, right? And I'm
Yeah,
just like all aboard the hype train. I'm biased as shit. Like I'm excited to see this movie. Like this is a movie that
yep.
I've been waiting for so long, and it's supposed to already be out. It's supposed to have been out for like
I
4 months now.
know. I've
So
gotta say though, I'm grateful because at the time I was like, just release it. Who cares? We don't need a press tour. Come on. I just want to see it. At the end of the day, that's what matters. But I freaking am going to eat my words because that cast is too hot to not have put on the fashion clinic.
spicy.
The
Yeah,
Zendaya. I feel
like,
like,
that's an example of, like, hiring A-listers for a reason, right?
and
You
using
see a
them.
lot of these franchises just, like, milking A-list celebrities for, the social media marketing and clicks, and they're terrible films. It's like, why did they even hire this person, this A-list actor, if they're just gonna die in the first 5 seconds of the movie? You know what I mean? It's like, a lot of it is all marketing based instead of character based. So this is a good
Mm,
example of hiring for the character and
hiring
writing
beautiful people.
to the actor or to the actress. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I'm even finding out there's a lot of people who I guess are talking about how they're cast in it. Or it's like a small piece of they're like one of the extras, or they're one of like the
Oh,
side
like a
characters that
Freeman or
aren't really mentioned.
something?
Yeah, and I'm like, whoa, that person's doing
Frick.
this. Like,
That's so
what?
cool.
I don't remember who it was, but I saw that somewhere. Like, I'm so excited for dude. I'm like, oh, I didn't even know you were in it, right? And
Dang.
yeah, there's a
Interesting.
lot of hype around it. It's kinda like when Daniel Craig was a stormtrooper on
Right?
Force Awakens. Yeah, it's
I
like one of
know.
those things. Like, everyone's excited to be involved,
I
and
bet
I
some
can't imagine.
actors, like, hit up their agents and were like, "Listen, just get me anything. I'll do background for Dune, just get
I
me
mean,
in."
Cat, when you're cast for the new Scream,
Oh,
it'll be
goodness.
incredible because 'cause you're gonna be slashed horribly, and it'll be like you're reliving your evil Ewok days
Ooh, God.
when you were sacrificed.
Yeah, shoot, I forget that Scream I've never actually even seen Scream, but I forget when I hear about it that
Oh,
it is
yeah.
extremely slashery.
The new one's great. The new one's really good. I feel like you would like it. I don't
I
like
don't like
horror,
blood.
really.
I don't like blood, fake
Oh,
blood.
really? Any blood at all?
Dude, even blood bending in
But
Avatar makes me queasy.
you were a fan of, you interviewed the dude who did one of the most gruesome, what was his name?
Oh,
Uh,
Terrifier!
Yeah, what do you mean like
Marcus
blood?
from I never saw Terrifier because I had to read a description of. I never went to go see that because I'm looking out for my own
Oh.
sanity. Sorry, Marcus, if you're watching this. You know I respect you. You know I think it's the coolest thing ever. I never saw it because I heard that people were vomiting profusely
Oh,
in the
yeah,
theater.
it's really
And then I
gross.
later read a description of what happens in like the first 5 minutes with the girl's brain or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, thank
Dude,
God I
Amanda was
can't.
loving it. She was sitting there, like, reveling in it, and I'm just like, I feel like I'm gonna view things differently now. I think I'm scarred, and
Oh
she's just like,
God.
"I love it."
How does she sleep at it? Because that's I can't. Very, very gruesome, bloody, gross stuff like that, even though I know it's fake, makes me, like, sick to my stomach, so but it's funny because you hear I remember reading and hearing and asking I think asking Marcus, like, "What is it even like to do a project like that?" Which is leaving people in their theater seats vomiting from just absolute terror. What's the vibe like on set when you film something like that? And I can't remember if it was Marcus or if I read elsewhere from one of those other filmmakers that you don't register it when you're in the behind the scenes, when the veil is lifted. They think they're having like so much fun, like it doesn't hit the same when you're there behind the scenes, which I think
Yeah.
just is so funny to me that you can be filming the most gruesome things, but the fact that you're there, the one creating it, just alleviates the fear factor that is making everybody else lose their lunch.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, I wouldn't recommend anyone watch it unless you're like my girlfriend who's a psychopath, but
If you can handle
aside
it.
aside from that, so okay, Alex, you just go back from the premiere in San Fran at
Okay,
Lucasfilm, watch the first
Alex.
3 episodes. Sure you guys will. Let's see, what would I want to ask you going like how does it compare to like all the other premieres of the other seasons? Would you say it is a completely different tone or vibe, or like the same vibe? Which is, I mean, I feel like the premieres for all the seasons were great, right? I think that was one thing that we would all agree on, is the premieres were always incredible because they were like big cinematic pieces, and then it kind of went off into a different area, a different tangent or a different tone. Would you say it is up there with the other seasons or better? Right. I think that would be a good
Mm,
question without saying anything, right? Because I still want to watch it.
yes.
I
No,
have the
'cause
other episode up.
still to this day, the season 1 premiere is remains some of my favorite, Bad Batch content. I even wanted to rewatch it while I was rewatching my core episodes
That's a
going into
very
this
strategic
season, but,
hunter. You don't need to use your enhanced senses to know you're outnumbered.
he's so good.
The Empire thanks you for your assistance.
Dude, we're gonna get copywritten.
Well, I'm pausing it. I'm pausing it.
I feel like
I
what's the
I
cutoff? I never play
I
around
don't
with
know.
more
I
than
just do
5
like every 5
seconds.
seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do like every 5 seconds. And this was
Yeah.
the moment where Zach was like, "Now I really hate Sid."
Oh my
My
god.
business is done.
Alex, can you confirm or deny that they eliminate her in the first 5 minutes, please? Shoot, that
Yeah, I
was
think
my
that would be a good
prediction.
question. That'd be a good question for
My
Alex.
prediction was that Sid's not gonna get what she deserves. That's my only concrete prediction going into this season.
If Sid doesn't get brutally
Ooh.
murdered after literally they saved her life.
Alex, shoot. Alex coming in with the golden 411 over here. Shoot. You're making me
First episode is
excited.
very serious, so it
You're
jumps
making
right
me
into it.
excited. Is it serious because
Just
they
right into
eliminate
it.
Sid? Is it serious because they eliminate Sid? I'm awful sorry, but I would like that. Dang. I can't believe we have 3, dude. We're gonna be here till like 3 AM.
Easy.
Ah.
Easy. Yeah, chat, when the episode's available, let us know.
Oh, that's
Actually, I
right.
don't want to believe this.
It
I
comes out
post
early for
pretty
some
early.
people.
Yeah,
Ooh.
depending on where you are.
Is
I
all
guess.
of Clone Force 99 just gonna get slowly killed off? When does it drop? Allegedly in 4 minutes, but for some people, for some of our subscribers, it would always drop. For some of them, it would be like 11:53 p.m. in the Pacific time.
Yeah, like
And they'd
remember
be like,
Charlie
"All
would
right,
always get
bye."
it
Like
Charlie would always get it like 10 minutes earlier. I don't know if he was just saying that, but he would always get it early. I'm like, how is
No,
that
I
even
think he
possible?
did. He would literally be like, "It's out for me, guys. Bye." I think it's because the universe just knows that he's incredible and he deserves it. So, of all
Depending on where you're from, it drops in about 4 minutes because I don't want to say time because everyone lives in different time zones. So 4 minutes from now, wherever you live, it should be up.
we only got 4 minutes to save the world.
Got 4
No-
minutes.
Mr.
I'm
Fett
afraid
says
this
that
is
episodes are
all
normally out 10 minutes early for them as well.
Consider it a gift.
Hunter.
That's the thing, though. I forgot about that. That Hemlock is the one who throws him that proof that they've found him. So now I'm really I'd forgotten about that, and so now I really feel like frick, he's not dead, and that was just a ploy. I don't know.
I know. I'm tired. Leave me alone.
Our brains are not functioning at peak capacity right now. We have to save our
No.
energy.
We're adults now. And 9 o'clock is when we go to sleep.
To lose one of your own, that must weigh heavily on you as their leader. If you don't
Growls.
I would love to know like his story, right? Like if we're gonna go more in depth about Hemlock and how he became who he is. Such a cool dude. Such a great replacement for Rampart. Like Rampart was cool,
Yeah.
right? I did like
I
Rampart.
think Rampart is alive. We're gonna see him. He's been imprisoned. I want to see him again. I don't know. I think we're gonna see Rampart again. I hope. But this Hemlock, he's freaking enraging. But it's hard because he's clearly like a maniacal scientific medical genius. Like he knows what the flip he's doing. So that's why it's tough because it's like respect. I respect the grind.
Yeah.
But not of experimentation on human beings.
Yeah. Like I respect the passion for your craft of
The
torturing
brain
people,
power.
but it's more about the concept of
The
passion other than what
application.
it actually is.
Yeah.
I'm so hyped for this, but at the same time, it's probably the last time we see the clones in action. Yes, probably.
Don't say that, Firestrike. Don't say that.
The Q&A after the show to see episodes. That's cool.
Ooh, Alex, how'd you get
Yeah.
tickets to that? Or is that invite only?
You know, I lived in SF and I never went to Lucasfilm. I don't know why I never did that. I should have done that.
Now you will lose yet another.
The commandos
neck
are so
brace.
cool.
Yeah. Oh,
Tech.
no. 30 seconds. Shoot. Yeah, if you refreshed Disney Plus.
I guess now I understand why. I totally understand now why everyone's thinking that Tech is that Dark Trooper guy.
Yeah, you were calling me crazy.
I totally understand now. I forgot how it ended. I'm sorry, but I guess that makes sense why they would guess that. But like, I don't know.
Yeah, we'll find
Actually,
out.
you guys are probably right. I think that's probably what's gonna happen.
I believe it more now that I've rewatched, seeing that Hemlock, that they recovered his body, and I don't know why I put body in quotations, but that
Oh, it's
they
out.
found him. Frick.
Okay. Well, have fun, guys. Well,
Yeah.
we're gonna watch it separately and then make a little edit later about our reaction. But thanks for the quick stream. May the force be with you all, and we will see you guys next time.
Hi, Frick.